From time immemorial, our ancestors have put a deep meaning into any of their occupations, and the subtleties of different crafts were kept, passing from generation to generation. These are details, important accents of which the culture and way of living of the Great Steppe civilization were built for centuries. The School of Nomads is for studying the past, creating the present to build the future. The Kazakh people are a noble successor to the traditions of nomadic life. In ancient times, our ancestors discovered the secrets of the richness of the depths of the Great Steppe. They learned how to extract ore from a stone, subjugate the strength of fire, and melted metals. The nomads once picked up in their hands and could defend these lands from their enemies. Steel armor, military equipment, weapons. All these things, born on the anvils of steppe blacksmiths, today have become part of our cultural heritage. Yes, this craft passed from father to son has come to our days. These are blacksmiths, armorers, and jewelers. I was very surprised when I found out that practically in the very center of Almaty, among the high-rise buildings, there's a real smithery. After all, most of the crafts of our ancestors are still preserved only in remote villages. And today, I'm going to visit the family of the Kulmenovs. It is a dynasty of bladesmiths and blacksmiths who not only recreate ancient weapons, but also conduct a variety of scientific research. Aga, my name is Samat. I am studying various crafts of our ancestors. I'm exploring traditions. Today I come to your workplace. What would be closer to get acquainted with the original Turkic craft, like blacksmithing? I want to learn something, learn a story. Will you show it? Of course, we will show. Thank you, son, that you decided to visit a sacred place, a smithy. We're always ready to teach such young people like you. The Turkic peoples always have considered the smith craft as a sacred art. A man who knocks a piece of iron as if it is a clay and kneads from it, never called by name, but only respectfully, usta, which means both the smith and the master. The smithy was considered a sacred place, and to things that the blacksmith touched, people treated with special respect. And today, Aitbirgen Aga continues such a great work. As Magjan Jumabayev said, any nation is made by its culture, literature, and traditions. So we were able to preserve this tradition in our family. In general, blacksmithing is more often a dynasty school. This is the craft of our ancestors, which came to us from the depths of centuries. And keeping it is not so easy. And we three brothers followed in the footsteps of our grandfather. We work in the smithy. For 40 years, in the house of the Kulmenovs, there have been heard the sound of an anvil and a hammer. This is a whole dynasty of blacksmiths, gunsmiths, who created weapons, horse equipment, and armor. The blacksmith's craft, as such, was especially developed during the times of the Saks or Sins. Kazakhs from ancient times were engaged in this craft, and it must be continued and continued for future generations. How many artifacts there are in the museum vaults? All of them need to be recreated, restored, and you need to master technology. To achieve this, we traveled around many Kazakhstan blacksmiths who are 80 to 90 years old. We listened to them, practically sitting on their knees, and learned craft from them. The most interesting to the brothers Kulmenov, this craft was passed from their grandfather, let's say by blood. Then the place of smithy is also unique. According to archaeological research, in the 7th and 8th centuries, several settlements were located in the territory of present-day Almaty. The largest was found in the area where the blacksmith brothers now live. Items from iron were found there. That is, somewhere in these places, a huge smithy was located in the Middle Ages. During excavations, metal billets, sets for defense, and a medieval blast furnace were discovered. And I thought all this is not accidental. That many centuries later, in a noisy metropolis with skyscrapers, somewhere among them is the forge of the Kulmenov dynasty. It is workshop, right? Yes, you are in the forge. Let me introduce you to my brother, Mahmoud. Hello. You're welcome, son. How are you? Fine. Aga, my name is Samat. I came to you to learn about this craft. You're welcome. Our doors are always open to a person who wants to learn about his culture. We will do everything to help you. Here with the traditional Kazakh hospitality, I am met by the blacksmith Mahmoud. He promises to share his knowledge. Because he, like his brothers, dreams about the development of traditional crafts. Even he gave a hammer in hands of a 3-year-old grandson. He knocks with it and he is so glad for it. Yes, as they say, a chicken learns from a high flying in the nest. I hope that this kid will someday become a noble blacksmith. Well, Samat, son, welcome to our smithy. This is an anvil. From ancient times, Kazakhs treated it with respect and greeted with it while entering. The women bowed, the men touched the palm to it and brought to the forehead, because the smithy is a sacred place. So repeat after me, and then we'll go on. Well, let me say hello to the anvil too. Here, this is the first step of the blacksmith. The smiths call their workshop a forge shop. They are sure that all the items here have a special power, and an anvil in the first place. Here, Samat, each people has its own customs and traditions, signs, superstitions, and amulets. For example, like this Tumar. This is one of the oldest amulets. It is called Oren. In the Oren, the Kazakhs personified Umay, a zoomorphic talisman. On the middle there is a sheep's shoulder bone. It is a symbol of a man. Its 3 sides are the personification of Tengri. He protects the smithy from troubles and bad things. Oren was also hanging on the cradle, and in a fold for cattle, and at home too. The forge, with all its beliefs and traditions, is considered one of the 7 treasures of Kazakhs. Iron, because of its properties, is one of the main metals with which the smith works. It is solid, and only in the hands of a skilled craftsman does the iron come to life. As if the smith breathed life into it. Good day. Hello, brother. I am Samat. Nice to meet you. What are you doing? I am working with smith's bellows. Is it called bellows? Yes. Blacksmiths use it. It is necessary for smithing iron. It is a useful thing for blacksmithing, I suppose. What is the purpose of it? It blows wind towards fire. How long does it take? I will do that until blacksmith finishes his work. You will take a break when he finishes his work. Yes, we will stop when he stops. I think you're tired. I will try to do. Like this? Yes, you lift and let down. Smith's bellows are one of the main tools in the smithy. It produces air and helps to melt and process various types of metals. The more bellows, the more strength they have. The bellows I work with are considered big. Son, you don't hold it in a proper way. You can learn from us, as we're experienced. You hold it with your right hand. You press it a little bit longer. Then you won't be tired and succeed. I have to press it till the end? Yes. My father used to say, if you find an easier way, there won't be difficult tasks. There are many options to do it. Let me see. No, it's not right. Hold this place. Lift it. That's it. The flame is getting bigger. Of course, no one was born immediately all-knowing. As they say, life will teach everything. By the way, this work is the simplest in the smithy, shakes bellows. But as it turned out, I can't cope with it. My hands are tired. I was sweating. It is not easy, and now we turn to the main action. We will smith hot metal. Well, is it ready? Yes. Iron is melt up to the limit. As they say, strike the iron while it's hot. So give it to me. So the work in the hot smithy has started. The red hot metal burns with fire. Mahmud Aga took it out of flames and began to forge. Hammer blows on the anvil sound evenly. Iron will get a form, getting rid of excess, filling in the shortcomings. Seeing as the smith's hammer falls precisely on the target, you understand that it takes years of practice to do this. Aga, can I try it? Yes, of course. It is too heavy. First, learn how to apply the bottom side. The bottom side. Don't kick. The bottom side. In addition to fall right into the goal, and you need force. What would raise this hammer? The smithcraft must contain both strength and accuracy. And then, what about this black curved piece of iron? It is hard to believe that it will turn into an even shiny and sharp sword. The whole process from forging to undercutting is a whole science. Aga, tell us, when our ancestors began to process iron, when the iron was valued as well as gold, they say that it was once brought by meteorites. Take the Kyrgyz epos Manas, their alliance about the sword that was sent from the sky. The sky. Do you understand? In general, copper and iron are the earliest metals that a man has processed, hence the names of times, the Bronze Age and the Copper Age, or the Iron Age too. Ancient people appreciated the quality of iron very much. After all, it is both strong yet pliable. In the blacksmithing business, the masters stand precisely in iron in a special row. Despite the fact that iron is not a noble metal, without it no industry of modern civilization will manage. Its main feature is that it can be forged from any shape, while it remains as strong. Our people did not just learn how to handle iron, but how to do it skillfully. The evidence of it is artifacts in museums. These are different types of weapons, equipment, all sorts of household items. Indeed, not everyone can work with iron. This is a whole art and skill, which comes only with the years. To get what kind of thing, the master uses a variety of tools. The iron I'm working with now, in the future will become a sword. Of course, it cannot be done in a few days. It seems to forge the sword is not an easy matter, because we burned it for almost half an hour. After 5 minutes, the fire is weakened and it must again be fired up. So how much time does it take to make one sword? The sword is a very formidable weapon, and it was trusted to do only to a skilled master. He was given iron, and the master always made, say, a nominal sword. That is, the smith made such a sword that its size and weight corresponded to the batir. If you make a mistake in the calculations, then with such a sword, the Jibek would not be able to fight. And for the making such a noble weapon, blacksmith often needed a month of work. Whole month. Of course, it seems a long time just to produce one thing. On the other hand, the sword made without hassle with observance of all the rules served for a long time, for centuries. Kazakhs called the sword made of damask steel a diamond sword. This is one of the 5 weapons of the Kazakh warrior. In 1861, the Russian engineer Anosov from Zlatos explained the sharp blade of Kazakh swords. The blacksmith forged at low temperatures by cooling the sword in cold water. This is the method used by Russian blacksmiths afterwards. This suggests that the skills of Kazakh gunsmiths exceeded those of others. Brothers blacksmiths create not only damask swords, but also other types of weapons of the nomadic warrior. For example, the axe. This is the Kazakh axe. They say it liked to use Scythians. Samples of this ancient weapon are kept in many of our museums and private collections. This is an excellent, formidable weapon and practical. It was used both in fights and in everyday life. I think, therefore, it gained a special popularity among the nomads. And this is a mace. Some confuse it with a truncheon, but it is only a truncheon made of wood for a fight, and the surface of the mace is covered with damask steel and reinforced with spikes. This weapon was used when the sword or axe did not take enemy armor. Then, with the help of a mace, a warrior could simply tear down the rider from his horse. The mace in ancient times was used both as a combat and as a hunting weapon. This is a complex or improved version of the same truncheons used by the ancient men in the Paleolithic. And this weapon is called sak eter, that is, beating accurately. In the song of Aktamber de Jirau, there are words: the striker hit his legs in a way that filled his trousers with blood. Hence, imagine the power of this weapon. And it can resist, for example, a sword, an axe. It is convenient to use when riding. I had never heard of this weapon before, and the more I was surprised when I found out that it could withstand a sword or axe. I decided to make sure of this, and in order to test it in action, I challenged Mahmut Aga to the duel. Well, I have an axe in my hands, and Mahmut has a sak eter. Now we find out which weapon is stronger. Let's start. You attack me. And I am disarmed. So we proved the strength of this weapon. And now I will show you what I like best. I understand, it's a crossbow, or how it is called in Kazakh. Europeans called it a crossbow. In Kazakh, jak miltik. Jak means the bowstring. Miltik is a gun. So whole word is jak miltik. This weapon is described in many songs of Batirs. From there we took the description and recreated it. It turns out that these crossbows were in service with the guards of the Khan's stakes. Arrow looks like an arrow from a bow. And of course, I experienced this kind of weapon too. Well, my friends, I have in my hands another weapon that our ancestors used, jak miltik. I'll try to hit the target. Will I get it? I do not know yet. Well, although I did not hit a 10, I'm glad that I got into the circle itself. I want to point out, I've never fired a bow before, or a crossbow, so it seems to me that there is something warlike in my blood. I'm a descendant of great nomads, after all. Together with weapons, our ancestors paid special attention to military armor for the protection. It is called chain armor. This is a military armor. Yes, they protect not only the body, but the legs and hands. This is a protection for the hands. It's for the wrists. It defended a person from blows with a sword or axe.
тесетін, шабатын қаруларға қарсы қорғаныс болып табылады. Бұл
That's how it was put on.
киіледі.
According to some information, military armor was originally invented by the Turkic tribes. So in the European records of the 5th, 8th centuries, the Turkic warriors were described in this way. In a military campaign, they dressed fully in iron, from head to foot. The ancient Turks called their warriors, standing on the front line, sugur. In order to defend themselves from arrows, they dressed in armor. Moreover, they put on their horses.
Біз көшпенділер
We are nomads, with a huge cultural heritage, much of which has not reached us. And to recreate what was lost once is our duty.
біз сияқты адамдардың мойнында. Ал соның бірі мына дауылпаз.
Here, for example, Dalpas.
Әскери дауылпаз.
This is a military percussion instrument.
Соғысқа
They beat it to raise the spirit of the soldiers before the battle. It also sounded after successful military campaigns.
қуанышын жағы рухын көтеру үшін тағы сөйте сондай кездесулерде пайдаланады.
Dalpas is a percussion musical instrument made of animal skins. This material is very popular in the weapons business. To make dalpas, the animal skin is pulled on a wooden frame. Each master decorates the surface of the instrument in its own way. For example, the ornaments of this dalpas have a profound meaning.
Оған біз міне
We depicted here a winged two-tailed tiger, and the tails on the backside of the dalpas intertwine and create the image of a turtle. In our concept, the turtle is a symbol of eternity, mangelik.
таспақа біз
After all, she lives for a very long time.
жасау сөнгені өте бір қасиетті жануар.
Indeed, look closely, because this pattern is often found in various works of Kazakh handicraft. It is also called a closed ornament. It has no beginnings, and there is no end. Thus, it symbolizes eternity. And it seems that the name of the national idea, Mangilikel, in modern Kazakhstan, is taken from this ornament. Mukhid, what are you doing? What kind of weapon is this?
Бұл қару өзі не
It's a very rare kind of weapon, means of self-defense.
айта алмаймыз.
It should not be seen.
Қарулардың бірі қорғаныс
It is convenient, for example, to keep under the chapan.
көрінбей тұратын болған. Шапанның ішінде қыны бәрі көрінбейді. Мысалы ол кездерде енді қазіргі замандағыдай емес,
In those days, the enemy could attack at any moment. And with the help of such a dagger, our khans and rulers could protect themselves in any unexpected situation.
өз-өзін қорғау үшін пайдаланған.
Now the dagger that Master Mukhid is sharpening is not yet finished, but it looks like very dangerous. Mukhid taught me how to sharpen the dagger correctly. About this stone, you can say that it is a grindstone, but still, it is able to sharpen the steel blade.
Ағалар бүгін міне атадан қалған
I am very pleased that I got acquainted with the craft left by our ancestors. Look up the history. I am very grateful. You can't predict the future without knowing the history. Most importantly, we must appreciate our cultural heritage, our art. I wish you succeed in this mission.
өнеріміздің қазақы құндылығымызды дәріптеп, оны дамыту жолындағы қанаттарыңыз ешқашан талмасын дегім келеді.
Ол
Samat Bala,
осындай
we want to thank such young people like you who research the history. We are ready to help you.
білгенімізді үйретуге біз әрқашанда дайынбыз.
Рахмет.
Thank you, Aga. Goodbye. Let the Kazakh art be flourishing.
Рахмет.
Wish you good luck. I got such an unforgettable moment, full of interesting moments, because in the forge, as if the time has gone back, and I was at the time when our ancestors lived. Of course, a person must know his roots, the history of his people, and carefully preserve the traditions of our people, its culture and art, the unconditional duty of each of us.